Fellow tennis nerds, I hope you are well. Today I am revisiting and re-reviewing, although a little bit shorter, the Percept rackets. Yonex Percept, that's the control line. It is usually in a minty color, and this is called Midnight. So launched for the US Open. I tried a bunch of the Midnight rackets. The 97H is not available in Midnight as far as I understand, but 97D, 97, 100, 100D are the ones I have been testing. There's also 100L, which is 100, but a little bit lighter if you want a bit easier of a swinging experience. Okay, so the Percept looks better than ever. If you ask me, I like the cosmetic. Please let me know what you think of the cosmetic in the comments. If we look at the whole line, the 97D is the most demanding. It's an 1820 320 gram unstrung racket. You can see the specs on the screen. Pretty heavy to swing, used by some pros. Marcos Giron just switched from that to the 100D. Darderi still uses the 97D, and there are some other players that like this 97 or 97D. I think Echeverry is using 97. The Percepts are going decently strong. It's not like the most popular line on the ATP Tour, and it's the least popular from the Yonex rackets. Ison giving you more power through the court, and Vicor giving you more spin. Those are more popular than the Percept line, which is the same for most brands. We can go racket by racket a little bit briefly. Starting 97D, super control, 1820, heavy to swing, quite a demanding frame, perfect for old school players with good mechanics. You need to have really good technique to play with that one. I really feel like the ball shoots through the court. I've tried it with Sean and Nikki and a few other players. They all like it, but even they who played like tour events in the past do feel like, especially these days, it's a bit demanding. Demanding, I would say, like 1820, 97D, 320 grams unstrung.
No, the Percept. I also played with this one, the previous one, the Pro.
Vicor?
Yeah, the Vicor Pro HD, which is basically the same racket, but this one is a bit more firm, so it's a bit improved. It's really nice, really solid, really control oriented. 97, 1820, you can imagine, 320 grams. For hard hitters, flat, control, and yeah, nice design. I think many people like the Percept. And then if you want more spin, you just go for the normal, the 1619, or if you are like super flat hitter, go for this one.
So I think you almost need to be either a very classically trained player that values control above all else, control and plow through, and maybe you hit flatter shots and you want to move to the net and finish the points there. That could be a racket for you. So you do need to be able to use pretty good technique and good mechanics to wield this frame efficiently. If you do, you're gonna be rewarded with pinpoint precision and a good feel. But overall, I like this frame. I really wanted to revisit this. I thought I was maybe a bit harsh first time I reviewed it, said it was very difficult. I got some comments. Players, oh, it's not that difficult to use. No, maybe not, but it is a difficult racket to use for most people, I would say. It's one of those frames that you need to be a player to play with it. I actually prefer even the 97H. I feel like that is easier to use, and with the launch angle being a little bit more helpful. And the weight distribution for me a little bit better. Even if it's heavier, it's still like easier for me to use than the 97D. If we go down to the 97, which has 10 grams less, it's a 310 gram, which is still packing a punch by today's standard. This one has a much lower swing weight, so it's a pretty whippy frame. I always felt like this frame needed a bit of weight, but that's fine. It's a control racket, but overall, these kind of rackets, 97 is still very, very good. And the room for customization is a plus because you can tweak it the way you want it and get the racket you want. 97 these days, it is a demanding head size. Tennis has changed a little bit, it feels like, but I know so many of you love them, and this one is a good one. If you want a lighter pro stuff, then the Percept 97 should be in your demo list. It is a little bit more muted in feel. That's been the case with Yonex rackets since they introduced kind of the dampening tech with the VDM in the handle, but it's not overly dampened that you don't feel the ball. But if you compare it to some like a pro staff, yeah, it's a bit more dampened overall. So that's the 97, excellent frame, easier to use than the 97D. Would be my recommendation if you want pinpoint control, but you want like a little bit of an easier racket to use. Then we have the 100D, which is the denser 100, and this is the gem of the bunch if you ask me, because it packs a lot of things that I like in a tennis racket. You have the bit more forgiving head size. It's not like a huge head. It does look a bit smaller than 100 even, but it is pretty forgiving. It is stable. It feels solid, and the 18-19 string pattern is excellent. I do like the 305 grams. You don't really need to customize this one that much. It just feels rock solid from the get-go. A little bit less headlight than the 97, but easy to guide the ball. There's a reason a player like Carousel, for example, used this for a while, and Marcus Giron uses it now. Just, you know, get the racket in place and it will do something to the ball. It will handle the incoming pace. So if you're a guider, a player that takes the ball early, likes to time it, then this is a top-notch racket. It's one of my favorite rackets at the moment. Okay, so 100D, great for guiders, great for players who are like Walmart Agassi style players who like to guide the ball. Also feels pretty whippy for 100 on the one-hander. So this one, the gem of the bunch. Nothing wrong with the 100 though. The 100 is also good. I just find the launch angle to be a little bit higher and I prefer the dense pattern one. But that's also a racket that measures up really well against like Blade 100, Head Speed MP, these type of in-between rackets where you're not going all power, you're not going all spin, you're going in the middle, but with that forgiveness. And I think that's a category that most players should try because it is a forgiving yet controlled racket that can suit so many styles, whether you're a counter puncher, which many of you are, or you want to attack the ball, but you need a little bit more forgiveness these days. Then I think these 100 square inch control rackets like the Percept 100 and 100D are really, really good. And a little bit more muted than the Blade, but very similar in playability. I think the 100D for me would be the choice, but I can see many players enjoying the 100 if you like to get a bit higher launch angle. But you need to understand if that works for you or not, and if you're not sure what racket you should use based on your style, level, and so on, we have a racket consultation service. I will put it in the description, and we have free resources, recommended rackets, recommended strings. And if there's questions that you don't think are answered on tennisnerd.net, then please comment below, write a comment on the website, and I will look into making that content because I want it to be a portal where you can go and get the information you need to get better at tennis. Well, get a better racket at least and string for your game. So overall, the Percepts, they're still going strong. They're still good. I haven't really changed any opinions about them, to be honest. That's why I keep this pretty short because it's like they're still good. They just look better now, right? So 100D remains my favorite. It's quite a strong favorite of the bunch. I do like the 97H a lot as well, but this is not available in Midnight. But those are my two favorites of the bunch. Nothing wrong with the 100. A little bit easier to use, a little bit firmer alternative to this one if you want a bit more pop. So lots to like from the Percepts if you're looking for a control frame, kind of modern control frame, or if you want like pinpoint precision, 97D, old school classical player maybe, or you're like Luciano Darderi and you want to rip the ball with maximum confidence. So that's it. The Percepts, they look better than ever. They play as good as they have since they released the minty one, but in my opinion, this one looks better. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a nice day now, and don't forget to play some tennis.